It's an Oliver on pole position, but it's not Stewart, it's his son Michael has put the MAN on pole position, number 12, alongside David Jenkins, number 69. Not in the International Navistar, that's Tom O'Rourke's truck, that's an error on our grid sheet. So David Jenkins in his MAN alongside Michael Oliver. He's yet to win this year. Row 2, 14 John Bowler and 101 Martin Gibson. Tom O'Rourke well up on the third row. Ryan Smith down at 6th in his Daimler Freightliner number 1. Row 4, it is Stephen Powell and Neil Yates in their MANs. Stuart Oliver only 9th in the Volvo alongside Ricky Collett in number 95, the heavy haulage boss from Yorkshire. Row 6, number 11, David Smith will start alongside the Mercedes of 5 Adam Bintz. Then row 7, it's Simon Cole, the first of the Division 2 trucks, number 41 in his Iveco. Starts alongside 61 Sami Ojanen from Finland in his Sisu. Row 8, we've got junior saloon car graduate Archie Handy, son of Simon Cole, in his Volvo, alongside number 10 Jake Evans, MAN. Now Jake Evans was leading the points in Division 2, but had a disaster at Thruxton. His engine blew in practice and he was unable to race, so no points from Thruxton last time out for Jake Evans. He needs points desperately here. The points leader in Division 2 after Thruxton, Bradley Harvey, with his first race wins in that division. He's alongside 26 Callum Eason. Treble 3 Graham Poole starts at the back, and I believe John Powell with his new DAF number 6, which had some teething troubles last time out at Thruxton as well on its debut. I believe he's going to start from the pit lane. So 20 trucks out there for their first race of the weekend. There is the grid formed up behind the GT Tyres MAN pace truck. It will be a rolling start. Watch out further back on the grid from Ryan Smith and Stuart Oliver. Big thanks to all our sponsors, partners. We've got Total Care Workshop Equipment, Freuhauf Trailers, Napa Auto Parts, Valvoline Oils, Truck and Driver Magazine, GT Tyres, Sylvie Fleet Management, BWOC, suppliers of the HVO biodiesel for the championship, Transport Monitoring Solutions, MV Commercials, Neil Yates Recovery and Alco, and LTS Global Solutions. All of the partner sponsors of British truck racing this year. Huge thanks to them for all their support, and a big thanks to everybody else involved with the championship behind the scenes as well. Let's mention all our exhibitors here this weekend. It's a convoy in the park, everything to do with trucks being celebrated here at Donington Park at this biggest event of the season for the championship. It's easy to forget that everything in our lives, be it consumer goods, food, material to build our houses, clothes, even our cars, everything travels on a truck at some point in its lifespan. Where would we be without HGVs? Also wouldn't be enjoying the spectacle of truck racing. It was back here at Donington in November 1984 that the first truck races were held in Britain back then. They were simply road-going trucks. They left their trailers in the paddock, went out and raced, and then carried on their journeys. It was the biggest phenomenon Donington had ever seen. It was the biggest crowd Donington had ever had as well. And it still pulls the crowds in today, as we can clearly see. So the trucks making their way around, then behind the pace truck. Michael Oliver Jr. in his MAN on pole. David Jenkins, desperate for his first win of the season, alongside him. We've had 7 different winners in Division 1 so far this year, and David isn't one of them, so he's especially desperate for a victory. John Bowler's had a win this year. He lines up alongside Martin Gibson, making a return this year after a couple of years in car racing. Tom O'Rourke, who had such a great win at Thruxton last time out, the Scotsman in the bonneted International Navistar, alongside the similar-looking bonneted truck of Ryan Smith. He won't be too happy to be all the way down in 6th in qualifying. Of course, has had a spell of illness this year, which has possibly held him back very slightly. Didn't show at Thruxton, though. There's Jake Evans, the blue and grey MAN. Bradley Harvey in the Weaver Motorsports white and yellow DAF. That's John Powell's old truck from last season that won the Division 2 title. Bradley Harvey has re-liveried it. Graham Poole there at the back in treble 3. Hopefully we'll see John Powell join in with his new DAF from the pit lane. Michael Oliver, the grey and yellow MAN, the GT tyres and Tahuna Honey sponsored one of 3 Team Oliver racing trucks on this grid. There's Stuart Oliver all the way back in 9th on the grid, alongside Ricky Collett in the yellow MAN. Simon Cole, number 41, the man from Dartford, heads up Division 2 in his Iveco, alongside Sami Ojanen from Finland in the Mad Croc energy drink Sisu, the Finnish-built truck. So here we go then. 19 trucks, hopefully a 20th joining in, about to be unleashed. 12 and 13 litre engines, almost 1,000 horsepower each from these 5-ton machines, limited to 100 miles per hour. But that certainly doesn't hold them back. This is going to be something very special indeed. The first of 5 British Truck Racing Championship races across the weekend here at Donington Park. Michael Oliver and David Jenkins to lead them away. Simon Cole and Sami Ojanen will lead the Division 2 field. I am really looking forward to this. At the circuit where it all started back in 1984, the pack is unleashed here at Donington Park. Away they go, charge down towards Redgate for the first time. Stephen Powell taking a bit of grass there on the inside. Looks like Michael Oliver's just about going to hold his advantage into the first corner at Redgate. David Jenkins up on his outside. John Bowler, number 14, in 3rd place. Martin Gibson is lean wide by Tom O'Rourke, gets a bit of a slide on, the owner of MB Commercials there. Looks like they're all through Redgate okay for the first time. Somebody's run wide onto the grass there on the outside. I think that might have been Neil Yates in the 33. Ricky Collett going side by side with David Smith. It is Neil Yates on the grass, but he rejoins okay behind Division 2 leader Simon Cole. So they're all okay around the first lap, except for Neil with a bit of grass tracking there. Graham Poole at the back in treble 3. Bradley Harvey side by side with Archie Handy, son of Simon Cole, in the number 40, the ex-Paul McComiskey Volvo. But it is Michael Oliver who has the early lead, looking for his 2nd win of the season. They climb up towards Coppice for the first time. David Jenkins giving chase. Bit of a lock-up there for John Bowler in 3rd. He goes out wide onto the gravel. Just missed his braking point there. He'll lose 3rd to Ryan Smith, who's got a lightning start from 6th position on the grid. He's up into 3rd already, the 9-time consecutive Division 1 champion. Tom O'Rourke's going well up there in 4th place as well. Martin Gibson is 5th. Stuart Oliver in 7th, weaving about there behind John Bowler. Then we've got Stephen Powell, number 3. The result of this race will set the grid for tomorrow's first race, the 3rd of the weekend, because the grid is set by the result with the top 8 finishers reversed. So if you finish 8th here, you will start on pole for race 3. Stuart Oliver up the inside, taking Stephen Powell. Up behind them is David Smith, looking for a gap on the inside. He's had 1 win this season as well. As has Adam Bint there, the black Mercedes, number 5. He had a win at Pembrey in Wales, his first ever Division 1 win. The former Division 2 champion with the new Mercedes this season. So they filter their way round the 2nd lap then, with Michael Oliver in the lead. I'm so used to saying Stuart Oliver leading instead of Michael. Neil Yates recovering from his off on the first lap. Well, he does run a recovery business, so recovering should be a speciality. Man who had a huge crash at Thruxton a couple of years ago, thankfully escaping unhurt. Michael Oliver had a bit of a wallop at Thruxton this year, went into the barriers coming out of the first corner and was out for the weekend. The front end of the truck had to be rebuilt by Team Oliver Racing. Now, here comes Ryan Smith, the number 1, closing on his arch rival over the years, David Jenkins. Somebody kicking up a lot of dust there in the background coming out of Coppice. Very easy to run wide there. Tom O'Rourke well up in 4th place. He loves the Donington Park circuit. Ricky Collett having a look at the back of the number 3 of Stephen Powell briefly there. Stephen's had a lot of mechanical trouble with the number 3 truck this season. He's yet to win this year. He's behind David Smith in the number 11, the former Division 2 champion from back in 2011, making a return to racing over the last couple of years. We'll see his son Nathan out in that truck in the International Truck GP events as well. First 3 breaking away very slightly. Fastest lap, not surprisingly, is with Ryan Smith, 125.885. He chases David Jenkins. Got to time your passing moves absolutely right here at Donington. Find the right place to get side by side. Usually down the exhibition straight into the chicane is a good passing place, and into Redgate as well. Up towards McLean. Still Michael Oliver who shows out in front in truck number 12. It's MAN's 1 and 2. The Daimler Freightliner in third place. Now here comes Ryan Smith. Can he get alongside into Coppice? I don't think so. That's a good look at David Jenkins, though. First three running line astern almost. And Tom O'Rourke saying, I want a bit of this as well. Trying to close up the man from Livingston in Scotland, the international Navistar. Took that truck's first win last time out at Thruxton. Ryan Smith's going to go for the inside maybe on David Jenkins. No, he's not close enough. Good close battling here. Martin Gibson still there in fifth, ahead of John Bowler in the 14, recovering after he ran wide at Coppice earlier on. Stuart Oliver behind him. John Bowler gets a wheel onto the grass there, flicks the number 14 sideways. A gap back to David Smith, number 11 next. Now if David finishes 8th, he'll have pole for race 3. Because race 2 later on today, the grid set by the second fastest qualifying time for each driver. Going up towards 1/3 distance in this 15-minute race, the British Truck Racing Championship here at Donington. It's Michael Oliver looking for his second win of the season. Brands Hatch earlier this year, Stuart and Michael took a family 1-2 with everybody else squabbling for third place in their wake. That was the race where David Smith memorably held off his namesake Ryan, trying to come through from the reverse grid for several laps, and Ryan just could not find a way through. What's happening in Division 2 meanwhile? Well, there is Jake Evans. I think he's just taken the lead of the category he has from Simon Cole in the number 41. So Jake Evans, his cousin Craig used to race that MAN in Division 2, making up for lost points, and we've had a bit of contact there, I think, because Stephen Powell's lost the front bumper of his truck. David Smith behind him. Meanwhile, is there going to be a challenge for second place this time? Ryan Smith about to have a look into the chicane. No, he's still not close enough. The gap was 0.7 of a second for the lead between Michael Oliver and David Jenkins last time through. Across the line they come. What's it going to be this time? Still about the same. Just a couple of hundredths increase for Michael Oliver. First three breaking away from Martin Gibson, who's now in third place. What's happened to Tom O'Rourke? We've lost the 86 from fourth place. I missed that. So where's Tom O'Rourke got to? He hasn't come through. Has he stopped somewhere? I saw a bit of dust being kicked up at Coppice. Has he gone into the gravel, possibly? Because it's Martin Gibson in fourth place now. Yes, we're missing the 86. Tom O'Rourke has disappeared. Let's have a look at the timing screen. He's come through in 11th place. So he's had an off somewhere, Tom O'Rourke. There he is. Oh, he's slowing down. Tom O'Rourke's got a problem. That's a great shame. I wondered if he'd been off up at Coppice. Look at this, side by side through the old hairpin. That's an achievement in cars, never mind trucks. Ricky Collett and Neil Yates, that is brave stuff. Collett, a vastly experienced truck racer. Neil Yates, a relative newcomer, the man from Kent. Collett from Halifax, runs the Collett heavy haulage business, hauling some of the biggest and heaviest loads seen on trucks in the UK. Meantime, Ryan Smith trying a different approach. The outside on David Jenkins there, switches back to the inside. Well, the rivalry between Ryan Smith and David Jenkins has at times reached Jason Plato, Matt Neal proportions in truck racing. And David Jenkins determined to hold that second place as we come up towards half distance in this race. Still Jake Evans leading Division 2, I can tell you, further back. They go into Redgate corner. 19 trucks still going for the moment, but I fear Tom O'Rourke's heading for the pits and out of it. John Powell sadly never got going, still teething troubles with his new DAF. Fourth place behind this group is Gibson, then Bowler and Stuart Oliver 6th. Then a gap back to Stephen Powell, who's ahead of David Smith, then the Collett and Yates battle. Hopefully Tom O'Rourke can make it round to the pits into retirement. Here's a battle in Division 2. We've got Sami Oyanen in the Sisu up against the DAF of Bradley Harvey, who led the points coming into this round, had his first couple of wins in the championship at Thruxton. The Weaver Motorsport DAF, well, I was going to say goes to the inside of Sami Oyanen. He's at the back of him. Bodywork flying everywhere. Souvenirs for our marshals. There's a chunk bitten out of the front of the DAF now. Meanwhile, what's happening at the chicane? Is Ryan Smith finally going to get the inside line away from... and oh, we've got more crash bang wallop. That's Neil Yates into the side of Ricky Collett. These two have been side by side for most of this race. It's hard to know where to look at the moment. was such a tame affair for its first half, and suddenly it's all kicking off in the second half of this first truck race of the weekend. What's going to happen into the chicane this time? Ricky Collett perhaps sensibly gives Neil Yates a bit of room. That's the fight for 9th place. John Bowler has been given the black and white warning flag for exceeding track limits. Any further offences there and he might get a 5-second time penalty. Still Michael Oliver continues to lead the way, looking for win number 2 this season. Ryan Smith's still got the fastest lap. There's Martin Gibson in 4th place. So 2 groups of 3 at the front of the field, then Stephen Powell 7th ahead of David Smith, and then seemingly all hell breaking loose behind them. There's a back marker up ahead I've just noticed as well. That's Graham Poole. They're coming up to lap in the treble 3. Still learning his craft in truck racing. Had a spectacular rollover on his debut at Brands Hatch earlier this year on Easter weekend. Moving towards the closing stage now, into the final third of this first race of the weekend for the British Truck Racing Championship. Again, Ryan Smith tries to get the inside line down the chicane. In the background there, Stuart Oliver's all over the back of John Bowler for 5th. John Bowler, the former Division 2 race winner. He's going to be out-dragged here by the bonneted Volvo down the straights. Good drive by Michael Oliver, holding the lead all the way. Tom O'Rourke is in the pit lane. He's out of the race, sadly, with mechanical problems. Still these two at it. Ricky Collett's back ahead of Neil Yates. Down the Craner curves they come. Oliver, Jenkins and Smith is a top 3 you would predict in British truck racing, but this time it's Oliver Jr., Michael Oliver, at the front. Great effort to take pole position. He's led all the way. They're coming up on a back marker now, so Graham Poole needs to be mindful on his mirrors here and try and keep out of the way of the Division 1 leaders. Of course, Division 2 for the slightly less powerful trucks. The leader goes to the inside. I think he's going to stay wide here. That's allowed David Jenkins to close up, though. They met him at the middle of McLean's there, which forced Michael Oliver to back off a little. And he's kept his lead, but only just. This has backed these 3 up into one another as they lapped Graham Poole there in the treble 3. I think Michael Oliver's going to hold his lead, though. 3.5 minutes just over of this race to go. Archie Handy's going to be lapped as well in the Volvo. Youngest man in the championship. 2nd season out of junior saloon cars. Here they come down the straight. Still Martin Gibson in 4th place. Ryan Smith switching back to the inside there at Redgate. He just can't get the line away from David Jenkins in the LKQ, Digraph and Morris Lubricants MAN. The Northside Truck and Van Daimler Freightliner run by Worldwide Truck Racing, still putting the pressure on. This is allowing Michael Oliver to escape again as these two scrap for 2nd. Down into the old hairpin. Where are they going to meet Archie Handy? I think it might be into McLean's again. Hopefully he'll see them in his mirrors. There he is, the young gun in the Volvo, the ex-Paul McCummesky, Paddy Mack Volvo FM12. They're going to meet him at McLean's again. Look, this is exactly the same as the previous lap, and he moves aside. Maybe just got a little tap there from Michael Oliver just to remind him he was there. And they get past him, no problem. Ryan Smith is on David Jenkins' bumper now. What's happening in Division 2? It's still Jake Evans ahead of Simon Cole and Sami Oyanen, who's shaken off the attentions of Bradley Harvey. Three leaders into the chicane. Still Stuart Oliver unable to get past John Bowler for 5th place. Who's in that important 8th place? It's David Smith. He's heading for pole position for race 3 as things stand provisionally alongside Stephen Powell. Couple of laps to go now. Still no change among the leaders. 18 trucks still running. Tom O'Rourke has retired. David Smith has just got the black and white flag for track limits exceeding as well. Just a warning. Another offence and he might get penalised. Through the bottom of the circuit along the Straight past Starkey's Bridge, then towards Schwantz Curve once again. There is Jake Evans, the Division 2 leader in the Brown Recycling sponsored MAN on his local circuit this weekend, the man from Stoke. And here's Ricky Collett, still holding off everything Neil Yates can throw at him. Neil Yates, certainly a spectacular driver. Ricky Collett with a lot of experience, though, as they pass Graham Poole, Neil Yates' teammates, to put a lap on him. Coming round to start the final lap then of our first truck race of the weekend, and Ryan Smith is getting determined here to take second from David Jenkins. Can Jenkins challenge Michael Oliver and take his first win of the season? Bit of dust being kicked up there as Ryan Smith starts to push ever harder. They're clear of Martin Gibson by about nearly 5 seconds now in 4th place. Still no change into Redgate for the last time. Clock about to count down to 0, 10 seconds left. So the checkered flag will be being prepared. The number 40 now gets the warning for exceeding track limits, the black and white flag. That's Archie Handy. Through the old hairpin for the last time. It's looking good for Jake Evans in Division 2. Just looking at the gap there, he's I think quite a way clear of Simon Cole. Will there be any change in Division 1? Yeah, 14 seconds is now Evans' lead over Cole in Division 2. Through Coppice for the last time come the leaders. Now, can David Jenkins get close enough? I don't think he's going to. Are we going to see a last spin lunge from Ryan Smith for 2nd place? I think Michael Oliver has just about done enough. They're going to finish line astern. Will there be any attacks out of the chicane? Will anybody try and spring a surprise on the run to the line? I don't think so. The man from Hexham in Northumberland. Here comes Michael Oliver in to take his 2nd win of the season. One last effort from Ryan Smith. He doesn't quite get there, and he has to settle for 3rd place. Martin Gibson is 4th, and Stuart Oliver's got through on the last lap into 5th place. So 3 Team Oliver trucks in the top 5. I don't think that's ever happened before. Stephen Powell 6th. John Bowler is relegated to 7th, and it's going to be David Smith in 8th. He will take pole position for race 3 provisionally. The battle for 9th, it got a bit bruising at times between Ricky Collett and Neil Yates. Who's going to get there? It's a photo finish. I think Yates got it. 200ths of a second according to the timing screen. And Adam Bint next home, a quiet race for him in the Mercedes. Jake Evans flashes the lights, he crosses the line. He wins Division 2 at a canter. And these two are still at it as well. Look at the state of Bradley Harvey's DAF, and this is just the first race of the weekend. Sami Ojanen's fighting back, excuse me, he says. They're still jockeying for position down the straight. Simon Cole comes over in 2nd in Division 2. Now what about these two? What's going to happen into the chicane? It's Great Britain versus Finland. Bradley Harvey's just got the advantage. You can't fit 2 trucks through there, side by side, certainly. I think Harvey's got the place in the 96. And they'll come over the line to finish 3rd and 4th in Division 2. Callum Eason, a quieter race for him behind them. And then Archie Handy and Graham Poole a lap down. I can tell you John Bowler and Neil Yates both got penalties for exceeding track limits there, but I think such was John Bowler's advantage over David Smith. He keeps 7th place. Neil Yates drops to 11th behind Collett and Adam Bint. Archie Handy gets the penalty as well. So that means he'll stay in 17th, I think. But it's Michael Oliver who takes his 2nd win of the season by 0.6 of a second over David Jenkins. Ryan Smith has to settle for 3rd. Good 4th for Martin Gibson. And Stuart Oliver on the last lap getting ahead of John Bowler to take P5. 3 Team Oliver Racing trucks in the top 5 places. Excellent stuff. Stephen Powell 6th ahead of John Bowler. David Smith in 8th. And then Ricky Collett in 9th after that titanic battle with Neil Yates, who then got that 5-second penalty, dropping into 11th behind Adam Bint. Jake Evans wins Division 2, well clear of Simon Cole to the tune of some 14 seconds. Bradley Harvey winning his fight with Sami Ojanen. And then Callum Eason, Archie Handy and Graham Poole. Sadly, we lost Tom O'Rourke into the pits for the problem while running 4th, and John Powell didn't take the start. 11 laps completed by our race winner. It was Ryan Smith who got the fastest lap. The fastest lap in Division 2 went to Jake Evans, an extra point each for them. as we await the trucks to make their way into Parc Fermé. We are heading into our lunch break shortly, but it'll be over to Pointy in a few minutes' time to catch up with our truck racers, I'm sure. The display of cranes is most impressive, isn't it? Bit windy for bungee jumping off them today, though. Huge crowds in attendance here at Donington Park, loving every moment of the action. You can see our drift cars on the top left of your screen there as well, the Mazda MX-5s. Thanks to all our commenters as well. Here's some of our drift cars. I will admit that Japanese sports cars, not my biggest forte. I think that's a Nissan of some description, possibly we've got there. Either a Skyline or a Sylvia, I'm not so sure. Our director, Elliot, knows a bit more about drift cars than I do. I think we can head down to Parc Fermé with Pointy in the meantime.
Wow, wow, wow. We finished a great first race of the weekend here at Convoy in the park for the British Truck Racing Championship. Of course, Michael Oliver will be exceedingly happy with that result, especially considering the damage he received at Throxton. A complete write-off for that weekend. Now clawing his way back up. Let's head down to see if we can catch up. Of course, we've got Steve Powell minus or sans bumper, as they say in Europe. Let's try and find Michael at the front. Of course, we've got Ryan Smith in third place, Michael Oliver in first, Dave Jenkins in second. Can we get him? He was extremely happy earlier on with his qualifying in pole position, but now let's go and greet and congratulate him. Look at this one. Well done. Oh my goodness. Now, we spoke to you earlier on, of course. Fantastic qualification, and then to go from that to making it stick. I mean, with all due respect, the challenges didn't seem to be there. What could you see in your rearview mirror?
I promised Dave a t-shirt. So I owe him a t-shirt. Everyone was just not on eggshells, but I was on eggshells. But I wasn't really as fast as I could have been. But Christ, I'm sorry. A lot of respect, like.
Dave, fantastic race from you as well.
Well, Team Oliver t-shirt. Now I'm your new big fan.
Was that the bribe? Was it?
Yeah.
Mr. Blocker.
Mr. Blocker. You were under some pressure from Ryan, not as much as we've come to expect though in the past.
Yeah, Ryan was like yo-yoing on and off me. I would say he's got coolant temperature issues because as soon as he got in, he sort of fell off with the power derate, and then he got a bit of fresh air, and then he came again. Either that or he's just losing it, one or the other.
Oh, you heard it here first,
he's here now with his big book of excuses. So no, yeah. Ryan obviously didn't find his full potential. The start was unfortunately a mix-up that perhaps perhaps they should have done something different. They clearly couldn't have red flagged it there and then, but somebody pressed the wrong button in race control. So
there was a lot of comments in the pit lane. Something about the pace truck came in. All of a sudden, it was lights out, ready to go.
Yeah, somebody pressed the button too quick. So,
but you all recovered quite well from that.
Yeah, but it was great. The start wasn't fair at all because Like, my radio man had said go. I could see the lights were out. I thought, well, we can't go yet. We're not out the chicane. I don't really know what I thought was going to happen. It was a great race. And we had, like Ryan's just said, we had to go because if we'd have stopped, it was not our place not to go. So it was a bit of a tricky one, but no, fair play to Michael. It was well done, good job. But it won't.
Who won?
Who won, Dave?
Some bloke that lives down the road.
and he never says anything about it, does he? Michael, well done. We're going to quickly head back to Division 2 now to see if we've got any drivers from there. Mr. Evans, they're waiting to get weighed in. So this is something you might not necessarily get to see. They weigh the front axle and the back axle so they can take weights after each race. Scrutineers obviously have to do that. We've got Evans just coming in now. Jake for the weighing scales. We probably won't get a chance to speak to him until he's out. Couple of time penalties though to mention. I believe John Bowler ended up taking 5 seconds. We also had one for Neil Yates and also another one for Archie Handy. All track limits, I believe. So yeah, real shame there that they've ended up with those. But no, it's great to see Jake Evans on the rebound now from his engine issues at Thruxton. Quite an interesting weekend for a lot of teams was Thruxton. But no, it's great to get him back out on the circuit. He was extremely happy to speak to us earlier on. And of course, Simon Cole taking another second place. He's doing very well this season, very well indeed. I think if we can just roll him off the scales. Come on, yeah, come back, front forward a bit, there we go, yeah. This is me doing a bit of parking, whoop, that's it, there we go, lovely. We can get the brakes on and we'll have a quick word then. Talk about back and ready for action.
Yeah, found it again. Weirdly faster today than we were in testing after 3 sessions on Thursday, so no, I just want to say a mega job by the team, right? These boys that come with me and the girls and all the families behind the scenes, it's all voluntary, we don't pay wages, we haven't got that budget, we do the best with what we've got a fantastic group of sponsors behind us, and this just shows what we can do, so no, happy with that, can't wait to get out again this afternoon now.
Absolutely buzzing, he's teeming with excitement and energy, you can see that. Obviously you did well in qualifying. Have you got any views on the race as a whole?
Listen, we're governed by the novice rules still at the minute. We've been discussing it this morning between ourselves, some of the novices. Listen, the rules are the rules and we'll play by them. It just gives us more work to do, which is, you know, fun for me, but I think nerve-wracking for everybody watching trackside. But we've come away from that one without any damage. It was all clean away from the start. So we'll just go and try and do that again all weekend if we can.